My name is Alexander Lindley, and I'd like to record a vlog on relationship manifestation. What is relationship manifestation? And I suppose definition of that would be using spiritual and magical techniques to consciously bring a healthy, loving relationship into one's life. And I've used this method on two occasions in the past, once in 2006 and once in 2010. And on both occasions, a relationship came into my life 6 months after doing the relationship manifestation process, or perhaps finishing the relationship manifestation process. And in both occasions with relatively little effort on my part. I had to merely kind of accept this relationship that was presenting itself to me. So that's what I liked about the process. I was allowing the spirit world or the universal energies to bring to me what I'd asked for, what I wanted, what was my heart's desire. And it was particularly striking in my case that on both occasions it happened 6 months afterwards. That's what made me think that, oh, there's something in this, because the pattern has repeated itself. And the first time I did this process in 2006, well, I'd been dating and going on speed dating events and this kind of thing for a little while with not too much success, and finding that I was putting quite a lot of effort really into the internet dating as it was then. And so I was putting a lot in and not really kind of getting much back. And I had a spiritual practitioner from the College of Psychic Studies come to visit my flat, or the house I was living in rather. It was a house share. And I brought it round to sort of clear any sort of negative energies or anything like that might be affecting me. But he did say to me that the relationship corner is missing in this house in terms of the sort of feng shui sort of philosophies or teachings. So he suggested that what I could do to sort of increase the possibility of romance and love coming into my life is to do a sort of spiritual exercise, which he described to me, which is to write down exactly what I'm looking for in a partner, in as much detail as possible, covering as wide a range of areas as possible. So perhaps, physical aspects, appearance, maybe background, ethnicity, interests, aspirations from having a family, personality, qualities, attributes that I'd be looking for, age range, marital status. That was an important one. Would I be willing to date someone who was married or separated, this kind of thing. So I did that, and he suggested that I write this down, put it in an envelope, seal it, leave it beside my bed on my bedside cabinet for 21 days, and then afterwards to burn it, to release the energy to the universe. And I think he also suggested that I find an image of a loving couple that I liked, or just a couple. And he said it could be humans, it could be animals, just sort of two, people or animals together in a kind of loving sort of energy, or that I saw as, a sort of couple energy, and to sort of to pin that up on the area of the house where he said the relationship corner was missing, relationship station was missing. So I did that, and there was somebody I knew in a kind of another kind of community that I was involved with, a sort of personal growth, personal development community, and there'd been some sort of interaction and flirting or connection between us, but I initially didn't think that that was going to go anywhere. But 6 months after this relationship manifestation process, I was on an event with this person, and we did get together. It was quite a sort of longer event, a sort of a week, and I think I realised, that the obstacles I'd had to this relationship, I was able to sort of bring them down, sort of remove them, and just be open to what could develop, and so we started a relationship, and it was a fantastic relationship. It didn't in the end last all that long. It was about a year and a quarter, but it was a very meaningful relationship for me, and there was a lot of love there and a lot of support, and I was able to do some quite exciting things with her, or being in a relationship with her, involving travel. I was able to find the courage to go to something in the United States, in California, which I'd been thinking about going to, wanting to go to, but hadn't had the really courage to do that. And now that I had this sort of partner alongside me, I felt I did have the courage to do that. So I did go and do that, and it was very rewarding and fruitful and helpful for me. Yeah, that relationship did come to an end, and then I had a little bit of a break, and I can't remember if I did any more internet dating or anything like that. But again, I felt I wasn't sort of going anywhere. I was a bit sort of stuck in terms of trying to find a partner. So I decided to do this relationship manifestation process again, because it had worked so well the first time. And this time I did it a bit more thoroughly or deeply, and I kind of added sort of bits in, because I'd been involved in some magical spiritual kind of courses teaching sort of traditional Western mysticism, and I'd become interested in the law of attraction and abundance sort of consciousness, and how to have a sort of a consciousness of abundance and prosperity, again using sort of spiritual techniques. The Abraham Hicks teachings had an influence on me. So I was on this sort of weekly spiritual course, which was about the kind of Kabbalah. It was like 13 weeks long, and we were doing sort of deep meditations each time. And I decided to sort of use that course as a sort of as a support to do the manifestation process. So once again, I wrote out a list of what I was looking for in a partner, and this time perhaps I went into a bit more detail than the first time around. I remember I listed 100 attributes I was looking for in this partner, and also within this Kabbalah course I was doing, I found a buddy, a manifestation buddy, alongside me, who was also looking for a partner, and we sort of shared, our kind of, I can't remember if we shared the lists or not, but we kind of shared our sort of vision or what we're doing, or kind of encouraged each other along in this sort of process. And also I found some images, several images of sort of loving couples that, appealed to me. I might even find a sort of sculpture, sort of a 3D sort of piece, I can't remember now. But anyway, I had images of sort of loving couples in my sort of living space. And once again, I sort of burnt the list after, can't remember, it was 21 days or not, and then sort of released the energy to the universe. And then other things started changing in my life, and I've often found this when doing this kind of spiritual work, that if you have a vision for a certain thing and you do a sort of process around it, then sometimes immediately afterwards other things change in your life, because those other things actually need to be dealt with. Things need to be sort of removed or changed, in order to allow the vision to manifest in the area that you were focused on. So I ended up moving house, because the accommodation I was in became sort of too expensive for me, and I had a lodger, but I didn't really want a lodger. So I moved to cheaper accommodation where I didn't have to have a lodger, and probably that was really very significant, because I think it would have been difficult for me in my situation to start a relationship living in a sort of large flat where there was a lodger who ended up having a girlfriend of his own, and she was coming around, so that would have been difficult for me. So I can see how the spirit world was perhaps working, that I needed to have my own space in order to have a relationship. And so I moved house, and then I visited my mother in, I think, about October of that year, and my mother had a lodger, a woman, and we got together. Basically, I was just the kind of last place I'd sort of consider sort of trying to sort of find a partner at my mother's house or through my mother's connections. But that's what happened, and I was struck by how many of the attributes this partner matched. I think I think I must have kind of kept a copy of the original list. You're supposed to sort of burn it so that you don't have a copy. But I must have had a copy because afterwards I sort of checked, and I think she met 98 out of 100 of the attributes that I was looking for, and that relationship started. It's not somebody I would have thought of dating really, but it was a wonderful, loving, healthy relationship. It lasted 5 years, and once again, seems to be a pattern in my case. It provided me the opportunity to travel. This person lived a long way from the UK, although she did visit the UK quite a bit. And so it was a very long distance relationship. So I'd sort of fly out to her part of the world, or she did sort of travel around the world quite a lot. And so we met up in the United States a few times. And I loved going to the United States. So this was like a fantastic opportunity to sort of see more of the United States. And then after sort of about 3 years into the relationship, also I think being in a relationship with this person gave me the sort of courage and the confidence and the support to be able to move house, because I was living in Brighton at the time quite happily, but I was visiting Glastonbury a lot, which is a big sort of spiritual centre, spiritual sort of powerhouse in the UK. And I'd been visiting Glastonbury a lot, and I think I had it in the back of my mind that I'd quite like to move there, but I didn't have the kind of courage or the confidence because it would have been a big upheaval for me, especially as a single person and my kind of personal circumstances. But once I was in a relationship with this person, I think I went with her once or twice to Glastonbury before I moved. That kind of gave me the courage, the confidence, the support. And it was like a sort of magical series of events that led to me moving to Glastonbury, which I won't go into now. But I sort of lived there for 2 years, and I was still in this long distance relationship. So my partner would visit me for a couple of months in the summer and for 1 month in the winter. And I thought I'd found my sort of spiritual home in Glastonbury, but Glastonbury sort of drew me towards itself or towards herself, and all of a sudden sort of pushed me out rather unexpectedly. I felt that it's time to go, and what I wanted to do, what I did, was to spend a year traveling around Asia. From 2013 to 2014. And it was because I was in this relationship with this woman who lived in Asia that I was able to do that, because she was able to sort of, I just had that support, that there was somebody alongside. And also we could see more of each other once I was traveling around Asia, because closer to where she lived. So, that was absolutely sort of fantastic. And it was a wonderful, wonderful relationship. So that's how relationship manifestation has worked for me. And in some ways, it's been a lot easier than, the sort of traditional route of dating. These days it's more through app dating. And as a result of my experiences, I have run a couple of relationship manifestation courses. I think the first one was in 2018. And the first one I ran was using a WhatsApp group, keeping sort of quite simple, and giving the sort of the instructions, the tasks, over WhatsApp. And I think there was 8 people in it. I think there was myself and 7 women. It seemed to, the idea of relationship manifestation courses and methods seemed to interest women more than men. But anyway, I ran this course, and it took, I don't know, a month or two, can't remember now exactly, but I had a sort of series of sort of 3 exercises, and the the first exercise was the wish list, the sort of writing out what you're looking for exactly. And I remember running this course, and also ran it for myself, because at that stage I was wanting a partner, looking for a partner. I thought, well, it's worked so well before, I'll try it again, I'll do it again. And I ran this course, and at the end of it, 2 of the women did find a relationship. One quite magically, straight after the course finished, as she was leaving the closing ceremony that she did for herself at my suggestion, she met her partner, and she was with that partner for 3 or 4 years, I think. And she'd had a lot of trouble, I think, finding a relationship beforehand, because the idea of these courses really is for people who find it difficult to find relationships, to get into relationships. That's the idea. So that was quite a sort of success rate, really, sort of 25% success rate. I don't know what happened to the others. I mean, with courses like this, these sort of spiritual courses, you never know how they're going to affect you, because you go in with one idea, I want to find a partner, but if you do a sort of spiritual process, then something else in your life might change that needs to change. And perhaps that was the case for me, sort of on that third occasion, that because I didn't find a relationship. I'm not sure how much I really wanted one at the time. I can't remember. Sometimes I'm happy, or reasonably happy, to be single. Other times I really want a relationship. So that's a kind of summary of what relationship manifestation is and how it works. So I just thought I'd sort of explain that, perhaps as a sort of introduction to those who might be interested to know more. So I think I'll stop there. And thanks for watching, and comments and feedback welcome.